Hello, this is lesson 5.4, solving proportions. And what I want you to do is take your paper and divide it into 4 sections. And then on the top left box, I want you to pause the video so you can copy this down. And when you're ready to continue, press play. Please pause now. Okay, so on the top left here, it says you can use cross products if working across doesn't work. So I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by working across. Here in our example, we have x over 4 equals 21 over 28. So when I'm working across, I'm looking at the numbers across from each other and trying to see if there's a relationship there, which there is. I'm trying to get towards x, so I draw my arrows going towards x, and both arrows have to go in the same direction. And I notice that 28 divided by 7 is equal to 4. So then I can apply that rule to the top. 21 divided by 7, and that'll be x. So in this case, x is going to equal 3. Let's go ahead and box our answer. That's working across. Now I'm going to show you a different way of how we can use cross products when this method doesn't work. Now on the top right, I want you to copy what you see on the screen, pause the video to do so, and when you're ready to continue, press play. Please pause now. Okay, so in this proportion, we cannot work across like we did the example in the first box, because if you notice, there's not one whole number I can multiply to 4 to make it come out to 6. So when you can't work across, you can always use the cross products. So using your red pen, I want you to circle the 2 cross products. It looks like a butterfly. Okay, and the rule is in proportions, cross products must be equal to each other. So I always have kids first write the first product that has the variable in it. So this one, 4w, 4 times w, which is 4w. Okay, and then the other cross product is the other diagonal. It's 3 and 6, so you do 3 times 6. You multiply them, you get 18, and then you put an equal sign in between. So 4w has to equal 18. And now this is an equation. So with your red pen, I want you to circle w, draw the line underneath the equal sign. And remember, when there's a number on the side, you divide. So we're going to divide out of 4 to get w by itself. Okay, and then you get w equals, and then you can make 18 over 4 either a fraction or a simplified fraction, which it could be 9 over 2. Okay, or you can make it a decimal, which is going to be 4.5, 4.5. Okay, and then that's your answer. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, for problem 2. Write this proportion down. 5 over 8 equals 12 over n. And again, the working across method isn't going to work because I can't multiply a whole number by 5 to get 12. So we're going to use the cross products. We're going to circle our cross products in red. And then we're going to write the equation we get. So I like to start with the one with the variable in it. So the 5 times n. So 5 times n is 5n. And then on the other diagonal, we have 8 times 12. 8 times 12 is 96. Okay, so now we just have to solve for n here. Okay, and solving for n, we circle the n. We want to get it by itself. So remember, if it's a number on the side, you divide. So I can divide out a 5 to each side. Okay. And the 5s are going to cancel out, just like above. I didn't cancel out the 4s, but the 4s will cancel out. Then you're going to get n equals 96 over 5, which you could actually write your answer like that. It is simplified form, or you can make it a decimal. Either way, it's fine, unless it says to leave it in a certain form. So you could leave it 96 over 5, that simplest form, or a lot of kids like to make them decimals, 19.2. When you divide it, that's your answer. Okay, now let's look at the bottom left box, and I want you to draw this graph Pause the video to copy it, and then when you're ready to continue, press play. Please pause now. Okay, so I want to keep it simple. I forgot I wanted to add 2 points on this graph. So this, as you can see, is a proportional relationship because it's a straight line going through the origin. And let's say we label this point right here. Oops, that is not what I wanted. Let's say we said that this point right here is 7, 24.50. Okay? And then let's put another dot a little bit higher. We're going to say that point right there is 10, 35. Put them in parentheses. Okay, so here the 7, the first number here is going to be the number of pencils, because that's the X, and then 24.50, that's the Y. Okay, that's the cost. So how much it costs for 7 pencils. And here 10, 35, that means it's 10 pencils, and this would be at 35, and that's $35. All right, now we're going to have our problem. So now I want you to copy this problem down on your paper, pause the video so that you can copy it all down, and then when you're ready to continue, press play. Please pause now. Okay, so now the cost of some pencils is $14. How many pencils were purchased? So we're going to use what we know from the table. And on the table, we know that we have 2 points. Okay, so they've given us 2 points. We're just going to use either one, either the 7, 24.50 or the 10, 35. It doesn't really matter which one we're going to use. But just because I like the one that doesn't have a decimal, I'm going to pick the 10, 35. So I'm going to write this as a ratio because the cost is proportional to the number of pencils. So here, my first ratio that I'm going to use is $35, okay, for 10 pencils. So that's my setup. Now, I could use $24.50 over 7 pencils. And I could also flip these. I could have put pencils on top, dollars on the bottom. But it doesn't matter. On the other ratio, I have to follow the way I've labeled it. So since I want to know how many pencils were purchased, my X is going to be on the bottom, okay? Because it has to go across the other pencils. Okay, and I know that the cost of some pencils were $14, so that has to go across the other dollar amount. Okay, as long as they're across from each other, then you're okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and solve. So we're going to, again, use the cross products. Let's circle it with red. Okay, and then it's going to be 35x. That's the first cross product. On the other diagonal, 14 times 10 is 140. All right, and then we want to solve for x. So from here, we just have to circle the variable and bring the line down. And let's go ahead and do that. Circle the variable, bring the line down. Okay, and then we're just going to divide by 35. I'm almost running out of room. Divide by 35 on each side. These are going to cancel out. So then we're going to get x equals, and then we have 4. And we have to label it how many pencils, so we label it pencils. And then that's our answer. Now before you turn the video off, I want you to write the code word, which is going to be pencil. So go ahead and draw a pencil right here. Draw it, and then write the word pencil next to it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.